you ever wish your day wasn't dictated by your health? Are you tired of being tired all the time, or is pain holding you back from enjoying your time with your family? Would you like to manage your symptoms holistically, but you just don't know where to begin? I am so excited that you're here. This podcast will help you understand how natural remedies work so you can relieve your symptoms and live a fuller life. My name is Penny. I'm an occupational therapist, past pharmaceutical rep, a mom, and a wife with a strong faith, and for 25 years, I battled through debilitating Crohn's disease. I took all the medicine and did all the surgeries that stole so much time with my family, but never truly healed me. I finally realized if I was going to survive this disease, I needed to open my stubborn eyes to alternative solutions. I researched how perfectly our bodies work with plants and a lifestyle that made my health less of a burden to my family and aligned so beautifully with my faith and my medical training. If you are ready to reclaim your life with holistic options that are easy to implement as a busy mom and provide relief that lasts, this is the podcast for you. Hey there, welcome back to the Becoming Natural podcast. This is Penny, your host, and today we are on episode 31. Amazing, 31. So we are going to talk today about powerful anti-inflammatory foods you want that heal your body naturally. Reviews, I have to keep remembering to do these because I'm so grateful. Reviews mean the world to me. I read every single one of them. So thank you so much for taking the time to write a review for me. Today's review is from Hayden Hall. Her wisdom, passion, and expertise from her medical background and health journey is amazing. Her path to health from naturopathic functional medicine perspective is exactly what we all need to be learning about, understanding, and doing. Thank you so much, Hayden Hall. That is so nice. I really appreciate that because there's nothing I love more than helping people out of their trench, the trenches that I was in for 25 years that I had no one that would truly be able to guide me. So I love being that North Star to anybody that I can help. So in episode 22, I covered a broad overview of foods that you should eat when diagnosed with Crohn's or any sort of GI illness. There are so many diets out there that have come and gone, fad diets. And while there are certainly foods that will help someone with inflammatory bowel disease to get you through your flares of illness or foods that make illness even worse, we should all, healthy or not, be eating God-made natural food over highly processed foods with preservatives and additives that aren't healthy for us. It's called a live it, not a diet. A poor diet leads to disease, and a good diet can improve your overall health dramatically. And I'm here to tell you that from experience. I'm also here to tell you that I am nowhere close to perfect. I love a Coke, and it is truly work these days to eat healthy, even when you're trying to be healthy. There are so many things you have to watch for that we don't even get into in this episode, but, looking for organic foods and foods without pesticides or hormones and antibiotics. Like there's just so much that we have to be cognizant of. And my whole goal is to take that stress out of it and make it as simple as possible for anybody who wants to start taking steps in the right direction to get better. It gets overwhelming reading labels and words with 36 letters and knowing what ingredient is good, what ingredient is bad. Can you imagine how healthy we could be if we focused on eating all foods without a label at all? My entire goal of this podcast is to remove that overwhelm, to remind you to offer yourself grace as you slowly shift in the right direction. Too many changes, too fast, and too strict will only lead to failure. I am 100% there to tell you that I've been there too. So take baby steps. Add one good thing and remove one bad thing until you feel like you've mastered each as a good, reliable habit before you move on to the next. So to make everyone here feel better, it took me more than 20 years to give up trying to be what I called, quote, normal, because I was so convinced that eating anything I wanted meant that I was normal. And I finally got tired of feeling terrible all the time. And when I quit eating the things that hurt me or made me feel miserable after I ate them, I realized they were also the foods that cause inflammation in everyone else as well. I just happened to be very sensitive to them because I have Crohn's disease. So what I'm trying to say is we all should be eating the natural, non-processed way, regardless of our health status. So much of what we eat will eventually catch up to us if we are healthy and not feeling any sort of symptoms now. And it can heal us if we aren't feeling healthy. My favorite Anne Wigmore quote, which I said before, but the food you eat can either be the safest and most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. And I know exactly how that feels to be the slowest form of poison. I felt like I was dying a slow death, the way I was trying to heal myself initially. So I'm going to do a really quick review of what we've covered and how the last few episodes connect. But episode 22 was the broad overview of what to eat when diagnosed with bowel issues. Then we jumped over to episode 28, addressed the role of chronic inflammation and how chronic inflammation plays that role in our health, which led us to episode 29, sharing ways to get out of pain from that inflammation if you're having some sort of a flare or an illness. And then last week in episode 30, I covered foods that cause inflammation, which now leads us to this week. And we're going to dive into foods that are anti-inflammatory and relieve you of inflammation and can actually help heal your body. So just a reminder that inflammation can be tricky. It's your body's natural response to injury or illness. It's when your body kicks into gear. But when inflammation sticks around too long, becoming chronic inflammation is when it causes problems like pain and digestive troubles, fatigue, and then, of course, chronic diseases. But inflammation is always triggered by something. Always. There is always a trigger. Whether it was me saying, I got a blister from walking on the hot sand, that was triggered by heat. Or inflammation can be triggered by food. It can be triggered by something that you breathe in or something topically on your skin. It can be on, in, or around our body. So we've covered different food groups that affect the body on the molecular level. We're talking all the way down to the health of the tiny molecules that trigger a domino effect of a response that over time can lead to long-term or chronic diseases because it changes the way our cells replicate when we don't have healthy cells. So guess what though? There's great news. Simple dietary changes can significantly lower our inflammation levels in our body. God gave us the necessary food that also plays a role as medicine. Thank you, Anne Wigmore. By understanding what foods can help decrease inflammation in your gut, you can appreciate why switching to an anti-inflammatory diet, which is rich in whole foods and fiber and healthy fats, can help reduce chronic inflammation and support your overall health. So, what foods are anti-inflammatory? Anti-inflammatory foods work on several different levels to reduce inflammation in the body. So when we're talking about eating to heal, we're not just talking about food being fuel and avoiding bad, refined, sugary foods. We're talking about food being actual medicine. These powerful ingredients help your body on multiple levels, from calming down an overactive immune system to repairing your gut, even influencing your genes, which is amazing. That's why every bite really can be a step towards better health. So here we go. The first example of anti-inflammatory foods is kind of packed full of a lot of words. Just want you to brace. So we're going to learn a few words here. I think there's a lot of words we use loosely. For instance, antioxidants, and we talked about oxidative stress last time, but free radicals, things like that. So I'm going to go through this really carefully, this first one. After this, it's like smooth sailing. But the number one food group that we need to look for to help reduce inflammation in our body are foods that are rich in antioxidants and polyphenols. I'm going to define those in just a minute. Many fruits like blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, berries are amazing. They're loaded with antioxidants. Cherries, apples, and vegetables. Vegetables such as leafy greens, broccoli, bell peppers, cruciferous vegetables are loaded with antioxidants and polyphenols. Fun fact, and do you know that cruciferous vegetables mean having 4 petals that resemble a cross, like the cruciferous? These compounds help neutralize free radicals that can damage cells and trigger inflammation. So by reducing oxidative stress, which we talked about last week, antioxidants prevent this domino effect, this cascade of inflammatory signaling that leads to damage deep inside our tissues, way down to the molecules. That was all a mouthful, but these are trendy words that many people don't fully understand. So we're going to dissect that a little bit, and then we're going to reread it. So the words in there we throw around on a daily basis, like I said, like antioxidants and free radicals. Do you really know what those mean? If you don't, I'm going to tell you. So let's talk about what antioxidant, what it really is, and what a free radical is. So I like to explain why they're good. We all know we want antioxidants, but why? And why are free radicals bad? So a free radical is an unstable molecule, meaning it does not have enough electrons. So your body has the ability, it will cause damage to the cells by reacting, by the way it interacts with other molecules. That's what free radicals are. They're bad. This damage that free radicals can cause can lead to inflammation, aging, and diseases. So antioxidants, superheroes, they come in and they help neutralize these free radicals by protecting your body from harm. And the way that antioxidants neutralize free radicals is they are so generous, they come in and they donate an electron that is needed to the free radical to balance it out. And antioxidants can safely donate that missing electron to the free radical, so it's no longer unstable, but now a regular healthy molecule. And changing the free radical to a healthy molecule prevents it from causing further cellular damage. So this process helps protect your cells from inflammation, helps protect your cells from aging, and also diseases. So on top of that, the antioxidant that donates the electron, it has so many extra electrons that it doesn't become unstable itself in the process of donating the electron. So antioxidants are actually really, really amazing. It can use more of those electrons to go and donate to other free radicals. So oxidative stress, which in episode 30 we discussed how nitrates, preservatives, artificial sweeteners, colors, and preservatives all lead to oxidative stress, which of course causes inflammation. They are examples of foods that with that inflammation comes aging and chronic illness and lots of other bad things for our bodies. So here today we're calling out the value of antioxidants that help neutralize the free radicals. And the oxidative stress is the result of an imbalance with too many of the free radicals and not enough antioxidants to neutralize them. I hope that brings it together for you. It's kind of hard to describe this instead of showing you on a screen. This imbalance of the free radicals and the antioxidants leans heavy on unstable free radicals and light on antioxidants. That is what leads to cellular damage, tissue damage, inflammation, aging. It can increase your risk of chronic diseases. And you're going to hear this over and over and over. Cellular damage, inflammation, aging, chronic disease, all the things that we talked about last week lead to these things. All the things we're going to talk about today help repair those. It's amazing. So in simple terms, oxidative stress is the damage that happens when free radicals overwhelm your body's defense system. Eating antioxidant-rich foods help restore balance and reduce oxidative stress in your body. So I'm very much a visual learner, so I'm going to post a graphic in my Facebook group, Becoming Natural, and on my website to illustrate how an antioxidant donates an electron to a free radical. And even if you understand this, I also have a picture of an apple that further illustrates the point to show you the damage that free radicals can cause. So that's pretty cool. Be sure and check that out. Polyphenols are powerful plant-based antioxidants. So when we say antioxidants and polyphenols are antioxidants that you find in plants, and they're found in the colorful fruits, vegetables, teas, spices, and even in dark chocolate. But they help protect your body from inflammation and cell damage by fighting off the unstable free radicals because, of course, they are antioxidants. So you can think of polyphenols as your body's internal cleanup crew. They calm down the inflammation, they boost your immune system, and they support your gut, your brain, and your heart health. So here's an analogy. So think of a free radical like that one guest at a party who shows up and they're missing a shoe. And because they're missing a shoe, it's causing total chaos. They're unstable and they don't care who they bump into. And to feel whole, they steal from other people. They grab a shoe from smart people who wore two shoes from healthy molecules. And when they grab that shoe, it turns those molecules into free radicals as well, because now they've stolen the shoe off the other person. So now they're bumping around and not worried about who they bump into. It's like a domino effect of damage. So here's where antioxidants swoop in, like the responsible friend. They show up, an antioxidant does, they show up to the party with an entire bag of shoes. They hand all the free radicals the shoe that they need, aka an electron, and this calms the whole situation down, keeping their own shoes on in the process and then providing balance to all the people who only had one shoe. So that's how antioxidants keep your body's cell party under control. I hope that makes sense. It's a funny analogy, but it works. So we're going to go back and reread that number one, and after that, it's going to be smooth sailing. So number one, we want to eat foods that are rich in antioxidants, which kill those free radicals, and polyphenols, which are antioxidants. So many fruits like berries, cherries, apples, vegetables, leafy greens, they're loaded with antioxidants and polyphenols. They neutralize the free radicals that cause damage. By reducing that oxidative stress, antioxidants prevent the inflammatory signaling that leads to the damage in our bodies. That's why antioxidants are so important, and polyphenols are antioxidants. And we are just getting started, but I promise it gets way better from here. So I hope that makes sense. I just want everybody to understand what an antioxidant is and free radicals. And I hear people, it's kind of the trendy words that everybody's talking about it. It's like, do you really know what it does and why? So I just want to explain all that. Number two, you want to eat foods that are high in fiber, whole grains, legumes, fruits, vegetables. They're all excellent sources of dietary fiber. Fiber helps support the healthy gut microbiome by feeding the body beneficial bacteria. A balanced gut flora plays a critical role in maintaining the gut barrier. And if you listened last week, you'll know what the answer is here. But by maintaining that gut barrier, it's preventing harmful substances from leaking into the bloodstream. Remember what we talked about last week with the junctions? Oh my goodness. So becoming natural fans, do you remember this? So leaking through that gut lining and those tight junctions into the bloodstream becomes toxic, and it's called leaky gut, which we discussed last week. I hope you learned that. I hope that wasn't new, which can also trigger systemic, meaning full body inflammation. Number three, omega-3 fatty acids. We hear that all the time. Fatty fish such as salmon, mackerel, sardines, walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds, they're all rich in omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3s are known for their potent anti-inflammatory effects, and they help reduce the production of, here's a new word, inflammatory cytokines that promote inflammation. So a cytokine is also used a lot lately. I notice people are saying it a lot, but cytokines can be good or bad. They are like your body's text messaging between your immune cells. They're small proteins that help cells communicate with each other, especially when your body is under stress. Stress can be an infection, stress can be an injury, or stress can be inflammation. But some cytokines tell the immune system, let's gear up and fight. And these are pro-inflammatory, while others help calm things down and heal. And these are anti-inflammatory. Cytokines help guide the immune cells where to go and tell them what to do, whether it's to start an inflammatory response to fight off the germs or to go back and start healing the body. But when the messaging goes haywire and too many attack now or cytokine signals are sent, chronic inflammation can set in because it gets crazy and there's mixed messaging and the body doesn't know what to do. So we want to make sure that we have the omega-3 fatty acids because they actually help reduce the inflammatory cytokines. They're helping to take away the bad ones. Number four, healthy fats. Extra virgin olive oil, nuts, seeds, avocados are great sources of monounsaturated fats, i.e. the good fats. These fats improve your cholesterol profiles. Fun fact that oleocanthal, that's oleocanthal, it's naturally found in extra virgin olive oil. It actually acts like a natural anti-inflammatory, similar to non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, otherwise known as NSAIDs or ibuprofen. Isn't that amazing? But it's from a plant, so you're not getting all the bad effects on your gut. So olive oil, extra virgin olive oil is huge because it can help with pain systems. It works by targeting the same pathways in the body that ibuprofen does, reducing inflammation and pain without the synthetic ingredients. That's one of the reasons why olive oil is so highly recommended in heart-healthy and anti-inflammatory diets and why the Mediterranean diet is so amazing. The more I read about different ways to eat, the Mediterranean diet is always at the top of the list, and I am positive extra virgin olive oil has something to do with that. So good nuts include almonds, walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds, all the things. Healthier oil alternatives, and this is a big discussion, but Opt for oils that are less processed and have beneficial health properties. Example, extra virgin olive oil. So it's rich in monounsaturated fats and antioxidants. It's ideal for low to medium heat cooking. Avocado oil. It has a high smoke point, which means it's really good when you need to cook on higher temperatures. Coconut oil, stable at high temperatures. Use it in moderation due to its saturated fat content. But fun fact, 76 degrees is where coconut oil becomes a liquid. So my coconut oil in the summertime, typically in my pantry, is a little liquidy. And then in the winter, it is hard. And I'm sure you've noticed that. But 76 degrees is the point of if it gets liquid or if it gets solid. Flaxseed oil, high in omega-3 fatty acids, best used in cold settings like maybe on a dressing and salads. And then walnut and pumpkin seed oils, they're flavorful and they're great options for cold dishes and dressings. Number 5, anti-inflammatory spices and herbs. And this is really fun. There's a huge deep dive into spices and herbs, as we all know, but spices such as turmeric and ginger, garlic, and cinnamon have natural anti-inflammatory properties. So turmeric, for instance, contains curcumin, which has been widely studied for its ability to inhibit inflammatory pathways. Isn't this crazy? Everything comes down to inflammation. That's why turmeric has been used for centuries to reduce pain, swelling, and even help with conditions like arthritis and gut inflammation. And tell me you haven't seen the person standing at Costco pushing turmeric pills. Just put it in your food. Just season your food with it, and you're getting it naturally. It has amazing benefits for your body. Curcumin, actually, bonus, is best absorbed when taken with black pepper. Black pepper actually helps it to absorb more readily. So if you're throwing turmeric in your smoothie, just add a little black pepper and it'll help it absorb better. Number 6 of anti-inflammatory foods, sweet potatoes and root vegetables. So carrots, beets, sweet potatoes, they're rich in beta-carotenes and fiber, and they promote healing, and they also support gut health. We actually give sweet potatoes to our dog whenever our dog's stomach is upset. So there you go. Makes sense. Number 7, citrus fruits. Oranges, lemons, grapefruits, limes. I could go on and on here and probably will in the future. Lemons are a natural detoxifier. But the benefit here is that they're vitamin C rich, and they have flavonoids that are in citrus that help reduce inflammation, enhance immunity, and they also help in repairing your body's damaged tissue. We talked about flavonoids way back in the very beginning in episode 5 when we were talking about essential oils, but flavonoids are found in the bright, colorful vegetables. So they always say eat a rainbow of foods. It's flavonoids that are giving the vegetables their bright, fun colors. Number 8, whole grains and legumes. Examples are brown rice, quinoa, lentils, chickpeas, beans. Benefit of these is they have high fiber, they help maintain your gut health, and they reduce inflammation linked to digestive issues. And that might be why I have digestive issues, because I can't stand beans. Oh, I've tried. I just can't. Number 9, fermented foods. Examples of fermented foods are Greek yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, and kombucha. So a lot of people have different opinions about these, but of course, if you get kombucha, you want to make sure you have it with the mother. You want to make sure your yogurt is not loaded with sugars and fake sugars. You want to make sure it's Greek yogurt because it's loaded with good probiotics. Same with sauerkraut, kefir. It's amazing. They're all rich with great ingredients, but they have probiotics that are in fermented food that enhance your gut health, directly influencing your body's inflammation and balancing that beneficial bacteria that we need to have a good, healthy gut. Number 10, final answer, low glycemic load. Anti-inflammatory diets focus on foods that release glucose slowly, preventing those blood sugar spikes like we talked about last week. Foods with a low glycemic index, such as most vegetables, whole grains, and legumes, they help reduce inflammatory responses associated with high blood sugar and insulin resistance. So studies have shown that diets rich in these anti-inflammatory foods, all of these categories that we talked about, are associated with lower levels of inflammatory biomarkers. The Journal of American College of Cardiology suggests that replacing processed foods and refined carbohydrates with whole, nutrient-dense foods significantly lowers systemic inflammation. Systemic meaning your whole body inflammation. So any disease state that you can think of that ends in itis, by changing your diet, you can ultimately reduce that inflammation by changing and eating foods that are beneficial, that are anti-inflammatory naturally, and by reducing the foods from last week that we talked about that cause inflammation. Increasing this week foods that are anti-inflammatory, reducing last week's foods that cause inflammation. So by including these whole foods in your daily diet, you're not only providing your body with essential nutrients for overall health, but you're also directly targeting specific pathways that drive chronic inflammation. And I just have to say right here, you must read or listen, if you're an Audible girl or gal or guy, Good Energy by Casey Means. I cannot recommend this book enough. It talks about just how we have to care for our bodies from the cellular level, because if we are replicating bad cells, then we are replicating more disease in our body. We have to start with the good energy out of the mitochondria, as she states, to have healthy cells. It's amazing. So, quick tips for transitioning away from those inflammatory foods and towards anti-inflammatory foods. It is a gradual process that involves understanding your current eating habits and slowly replacing items that promote inflammation with foods that help reduce it. And I remember thinking that I was so healthy. My first big switch. I thought I was so healthy when I replaced sour cream with Greek yogurt. I thought that I had just totally turned into a hippie. That was at the very beginning of my eyes opening to the world of natural health. But it's a perfect swap. It's the same texture, yet Greek yogurt is loaded with probiotics. So why not? And I even tested it on my family with a dip that didn't have to be cooked. So it was totally raw and uncooked, and nobody knew the difference between the sour cream and the yogurt. It was amazing. So I always substitute Greek yogurt for my sour cream now. So here's several steps and strategies to help you make the shift. Everybody's different. These are just tips and tricks for ways that might help you so it doesn't seem so overwhelming. But you've got to track what you're eating. I would suggest just for a week, here we go back to the food journals, but I'm a big fan of food journals. But just for a week, keep a food diary and track your meals just to pinpoint common sources that you're eating consistently. Maybe you don't realize, how many different foods you're eating have refined sugars or trans fats or processed carbohydrates, and really look into artificial additives, preservatives, dyes. You might find products that you buy regularly that maybe you don't even really care whether you eat, or maybe there's an option sitting right next to it on the shelf that isn't as bad as the option that you're buying unknowingly. So it can help you look for products that are causing inflammation, and it might help you find an alternative. And if you don't want to get rid of that food, I would suggest looking at, other products that are similar and reading their labels, or, finding a recipe and making it for yourself at home. So first suggestion, might I suggest Greek yogurt in place of sour cream? You also want to read your labels. And this is, it's big. That's a lot to learn how to read labels. I'm not even close to being perfect at reading labels, but I do know the big things that I try to avoid. So identify ingredients that are linked to inflammation. Number one, high fructose corn syrup. It is in everything, y'all. It's amazing. Even peanut butter. But they do make peanut butter without high fructose corn syrup. So people are opening their eyes to that. So there are definitely more options. Definitely avoid high fructose corn syrup. Partially hydrogenated oils, artificial dyes, and preservatives. Those are really big ones and easy ones to just quickly look on the label and determine if they have it or not. Don't get overwhelmed by the 36-letter ingredients. You can avoid those if you want, but just start with high fructose corn syrup. And it's really easy to look at, unnecessary artificial dyes and preservatives also. That's just a great place to start with those three. Your awareness of just those three things, I promise you, will move mountains. You will discover products that you didn't know were bad, and then the products that you didn't know were actually slightly better or way better. The next thing you should do is do this gradually. So gradual replacement. So swap snacks. Replace processed snacks with whole food alternatives, like eat fresh fruit or nuts, or, make a trail mix even, or if you're really industrious, homemade veggie chips instead of your packaged cookies or chips or crackers and things like that. Replace trans fats and saturated fats that are found in fried foods and processed meats with healthy fats from olive oil, avocados, and fatty fish. Reduce your refined sugars. Slowly cut back on sugary beverages and sweets. Start by, if you drink juices, dilute them with water, or choosing unsweetened versions like unsweetened tea of your favorite drinks. But don't forget from last week, even changing sugar that you cook with to cane sugar, or at the very least, unbleached sugar or unbleached flour, is removing some level of chemical in your overall diet. We don't need bleach in our foods. So baby steps, that's a good step. Number 3, cook at home. This makes you laugh because we're in the middle of renovating our house and chaos with kids and activities. And I know that everybody feels this way. Half the time you're just barely keeping your head above water. But if you plan meals ahead of time, you won't be tempted by the fast food options. And I know that it is not always possible, but preparing meals at home gives you full control over your ingredients. And I know it sounds overwhelming to some to cook your foods from scratch, but this is one small example. But when you buy taco seasoning, for example, the packet or the container will list, there's good ingredients, good seasonings, and then there'll be some preservatives, and then the ever sketchy natural flavors. There'll probably be sugar, first because they use sugar as a preservative, and then that natural flavors. Fair warning, that could be anything, and it's likely not natural. So I actually found a recipe years ago for taco seasoning. I make it in bulk. It was so simple, and now I have, a jar that I have my taco seasoning in, and we eat a ton of tacos in Mexican. So now I use my own taco seasoning that I know has no preservatives or unknown ingredients. And I know it's small, but I like my baby steps. All the Greek yogurt and homemade taco seasoning steps accumulate over time for a lifetime of changes. And hopefully it encourages my family just to be aware of those baby steps as well. Experiment with your spices that are anti-inflammatory. So use that turmeric, ginger, garlic, cinnamon. They not only enhance the flavor, but they also help reduce inflammation. So just start dabbling with your spices when you cook or adding spices. I could eat the heck out of garlic. I just love to roast garlic. Eat those kind of things and find ones that you like and what you can add them to, what recipes that you like adding them to. I know my husband, sometimes when he makes hamburger patties, he'll stick a garlic, right there in the middle of the meat before he grills it. Great way to get your garlic. So also look and focus on recipes that emphasize whole grains, whole ingredients, legumes, fresh vegetables, lean proteins. You can batch cook and freeze, which will save you time for people like me who realize it's 8 o'clock and I haven't fed my family yet. But that will ensure that you always have healthy options available. The more that you can steer clear of foods with labels on them, the better. Labels are a sign of bad, typically. Number 4, be mindful of your eating and of your lifestyle. So gradual changes. Transition is not about an overnight overhaul. I cannot emphasize this enough, and I'll say it over and over again. Start by making one change at a time, like switching your breakfast cereal for Greek yogurt or scrambled egg, but you can add fresh berries. Just do one baby step. If you're used to having a sugary breakfast cereal every morning, just try starting with just that one thing. Stay hydrated. Replace your sugary drinks with water or herbal teas, which can also support gut health. This is a big one. We all struggle with it. I do. Stress and sleep. So since stress and poor sleep can contribute to inflammation, incorporate mindfulness practices. Aim for consistent quality sleep. I'm working on this, trying to go to bed at a certain time so I can get up earlier because I am a night owl. And then I end up not getting enough sleep and it's not good for me. So try to put yourself on a sleep cycle. I'm in it with you on that one. Transitioning gradually helps your body adjust to new flavors, making sustainable changes more manageable. And I'll just say that after I did the Candida diet and I couldn't have sugar and I couldn't have, a whole bunch of foods that I was used to eating, I finished that diet and I didn't even crave sugar after going without it. You will be amazed that if you cut back on some of these foods that are not good for you, how much your palate changes. You could eat things that you might have otherwise thought was cardboard tasting beforehand, and then all of a sudden it tastes actually quite good. And I'm starting with eliminating salt, sugar, ingredients that are bad. Lately, I've realized how salty everything has become because I've been watching my salt intake. It is amazing how much sodium is in everything because everything to me is too salty because I have really cut back on any added salts in my recipes. So just remember, even small modifications can cumulatively lead to significant health benefits and lower inflammation over the entire body, not just your gut. It will help your entire body. So really quick recap of high-level food groups that reduce your inflammation in your body. Number 1, rich foods in antioxidants and polyphenols. High in fiber, omega-3 fatty acids, foods that are healthy fats, anti-inflammatory spices and herbs, sweet potatoes and root vegetables, citrus fruits, whole grains and legumes, fermented foods, and foods that have a low glycemic load. That means these foods actively are helping to heal your body. Isn't that crazy? Food as medicine. One of my favorite scriptures is Ezekiel 47:12 that says their fruit will serve for food and their leaves will be for healing. It's so true. So eating clean doesn't have to be complicated or overwhelming. You don't have to overhaul your entire diet overnight. You don't have to throw away everything in your pantry either. Just start by taking a few easy swaps at a time, and you will feel energized, clear-headed, and it will empower you that you did the whole Greek yogurt swap from sour cream. Your health is worth it, and so is your family's. And the earlier you start, the better. I feel like I learned far too late, but never feel like you are too late, because as soon as you know better, you do better, and it changed my life. So you've got this. What is one simple change that you can make this week for yourself that we talked about today? Try it out and see how you feel. Have a great week. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you've enjoyed today's episode, hit that follow button, leave a 5-star review if you're so willing, and help spread the message of Becoming Natural by sharing it with a friend. Check out the resources in the show notes and join the email list to stay on top of all the latest and greatest happenings at Becoming Natural as we roll out exciting new things while we grow. Until next time, take those baby steps to a more natural life and always give yourself grace. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. See you next week.